efforts have led to this moment. If Atlanta, which is the final judge, approves our efforts, these labors will not have been in vain.
Sometimes you have a vehicle that is so great that nothing is going to destroy it. Even though the story editor at Selznick International told Mr. Selznick that this was nothing but a sentimental piece of tripe. And one of the other men in the studio, one of David's very close friends, said it's only a story of a bitch and a bastard. Nobody's going to be interested in people like that. It was great simply because there was a bitch and there was a bastard. And they were fascinating people, and they were strong and determined, and you cared about what was going to happen to them.
You go. Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
This is a cutting room. And this is a strip of celluloid. What a funny way to preserve the image of an era. What a funny thing to become the language of an era. Come back to the legacy of a strip of celluloid, or something like that.
Welcome back to our world. The movie of Gone with the Wind was conceived in doubt and delivered with pain. But from the moment of its birth, it was a strapping, princely child. It grossed $20 million in the first 5 months of its release. It spawned artifacts of every conceivable kind all over the world. It was dubbed or translated into 25 languages. So, hooray for Hollywood. Maestro, one more time.
Everybody is here tonight. Everybody in movie land. Yes, everybody's here. Tall, bashful James Stewart. It's Mr. Charles Lawton with his distinguished wife, Elsa Lanchester. Everybody? You bet everybody. Scarlett O'Hara, her glorious self. Vivien Leigh, escorted by producer David Selznick. Olivia de Havilland, escorted by John Hay Whitney. But here's Elsa Maxwell. Start the party, folks. Now everything's ready to go.
And now let's get right to it. The awards of 1939. First, the technical awards.
To William Cameron Menzies for his outstanding use of color in Gone with the Wind. To Hal Kern and James Newcomb for film editing, Gone with the Wind. To Ernest Haller, color cinematography, and the same to Ray Renahan, Gone with the Wind. To Lyle Wheeler for art direction, Gone with the Wind.
Next introduction is the return engagement by request of the Rhett Butler of the Air, Bob Hope.
Thank you, President. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Really, I think this is a wonderful thing, a benefit like this for David Selznick, and I want to tell you...
Gone with the Wind kept on bringing in the sheaves.
Gone with the Wind, the screenplay by Sidney Howard.
The best direction of 1939 to Victor Fleming, the man who directed Gone with the Wind. The Irving G. Thalberg Memorial to producer David O. Selznick.
The Academy Award for the Best Performance of an Actress in Supporting Role to Hattie McDaniel.
For the finest interpretation of 1939 by an actress,
Vivien Leigh in Gone with the Wind.
Ladies and gentlemen, please forgive me if my words are inadequate in thanking you for your very great kindness. If I were to mention all those who've shown me such wonderful generosity through Gone with the Wind, I should have to entertain you with an oration as long as Gone with the Wind itself. So, if I may, I should like to devote my thanks on this occasion to that composite figure of energy, courage, and very great kindness, in whom all points of Gone with the Wind meet, Mr. David Selznick.
The year's greatest picture, Gone with the Wind. Epoch-making, truly sensational, winner tonight of 10 major awards, 10 little Oscars all in a row, all paying well-earned tribute to the genius of its producer, David O. Selznick, and in Mr. Selznick's own words tonight, to the authoress, Margaret Mitchell, who made it all possible.
Nobody thought it would be the success it was when And Mr. Selznick felt that if he got his money out of it, he would be fortunate.
David Selznick got his money out of it, but little profit. He had bartered most of that away to finance the production. He died of a heart attack in 1965.
Clark Gable did not win an Oscar for playing Rhett Butler, but he did get to marry Carole Lombard. Lombard died in a plane crash in 1942, Gable of a heart ailment in 1960.
Vivien Leigh married her lover Laurence Olivier in 1940. They were later divorced. She died of consumption in 1967 at 53.
Leslie Howard, anxious to go home, stayed in America just until the picture was finished.
And he soon afterwards left for England and, of course, met his death as a British intelligence officer during the war. He had only 2 or 3 years of life left to him when we were filming.
Olivia de Havilland later won 2 Oscars for Best Actress. She now lives in Paris.
Hattie McDaniel, the first black to win an Oscar, worked steadily after that, later starred in a radio series about a maid.
Butterfly McQueen is still performing, most recently in The Mosquito Coast with Harrison Ford. She lives in Harlem and is a volunteer at a local public school.
Sidney Howard never lived to see the movie he got credit and an Oscar for writing. He was killed in a tractor accident before the film was finished.
Victor Fleming directed only 5 pictures after Gone with the Wind. Soon after his last one, Joan of Arc, he died of a heart attack in 1949.
Margaret Mitchell said she saw the movie 5 times. In 1949, in Atlanta, she was hit by a car on Peachtree Street and died.
It's become a cult film. One man told me he had seen it 121 times.
Well, there it is, the way it was for the making of a classic. David Selznick's son is producing a documentary called The Making of Gone with the Wind for showing on television during 50th anniversary celebrations in 1989. Gone with the Wind is a monument to the romance and folly and dry rot of the Old South. It's as real as Mark Twain's Missouri or the faces on Mount Rushmore. But a confession now. I was never able to finish the book or sit through the whole movie. I think because for me, no matter how exquisitely Scarlett and Rhett and Ashley and Melanie were painted, underneath they were all Dorian Gray.
Margaret Mitchell, from all accounts, never got over the silly notion there was something vulgar about fame. She ran from the idea of a sequel, but she's been dead 38 years, and the same cannot be said of her estate. There's to be a sequel, I hear. Start casting, start writing. At least this time you won't have to worry about that damn Rhett Butler frankly did not give last time. You see, in 1939, the Hollywood Production Code forbade the use of oaths like damn. Selznick, however, argued that the Oxford English Dictionary, unabridged version, described damn not as an oath, but as a vulgarism. Well, censors, like estates, know a thing or two when it comes to vulgar, and the censors proved it by letting Selznick leave the word in the movie, then fining him $5,000 for leaving the word in the movie. And so it goes. These things also happened on the way to opening night.
In June of 1938, Selznick announced that Norma Shearer would play Scarlett O'Hara. It was a trial balloon quickly shot down by movie fans.
In a 1938 poll of movie fans, Betty Davis won, hands down.
Among the actresses tested for Scarlett were Lucille Ball and Edith Mariner. Mariner changed her name to Susan Hayward.
When Vivien Leigh took her screen test, she said the costume was still warm from the previous actress.
To shoot the burning of Atlanta, Selznick used 7 Technicolor cameras. That's all there were in Hollywood.
The fire lasted for an hour and a half.
Fred Crane, who played Brent Tarleton, was paid $1,238. For a transcript of this broadcast, send $3 to Our World Transcripts, 2 John Street, New York, New York, 10038.
For the Our World Viewer Guide, write to Community Relations, ABC, 1330 Avenue of the Americas, New York, New York, 10019.